if you don't tweet us.
So bene, grazie mate, grazie.
Ooh, Amar. Don't
Oh,
trust Zak Brown.
or anyone else for that matter. But yeah, sure, why not?
Yeah, is Zak Brown finally showing his true colours? I think he kind of is. I think this was always there in the background, but events from this week have definitely shed a much more ruthless light on happy-go-lucky Zak Brown. Just in case you've been sat underneath some kind of Formula One rock. Zak Brown has been in the High Court in London this week because he is pursuing a lawsuit against Alex Palou, who was going to be his IndyCar driver in 2024. But Alex went, nah, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to hang out at Chip Ganassi Racing. And Zak and his McLaren organisation are trying to sue him for $20 million.
Oof, with an M?
With an M. Yeah. $20 million. Because their argument is that he reneged on a contract that he had signed, and they lost out on a whole heap of earnings, be that sponsorship, be that winnings, and they want their money back. But that's just the opening salvo, because what has actually come out in all of this is that Alex Palou contends that the reason that he reneged on his contract, the reason that he said that rather than sticking it out at Chip Ganassi, rather than moving to McLaren in 2024 as he had agreed to do, instead sticking with Chip Ganassi Racing, the reason he did that was because he only signed for McLaren because Zak Brown had assured him, or at least given him some kind of indication, that he was setting him up for a Formula One drive. And he says that as soon as in 2023 he saw that Oscar Piastri, another rookie, had been signed up by McLaren for a race drive, he suddenly realised, this isn't going to happen. I can't really trust Zak, can I? And that seems to be the crux of the entire argument. It's not about McLaren trying to recoup $20 million. It's about the integrity of their CEO when it comes to handling drivers. Does he give with one hand, but very quickly taketh away? Why is that relevant? Well, it's relevant because the two drivers that they currently have in their employ right now, one of them is leading the Formula One World Championship, but he leaves Singapore, the last Grand Prix that we were at, very, very unhappy, talking over the radio about unfairness. Unfairness. The question I have to ask, Amar, and this is really open to you, having read everything that's happened over the last 3 or 4 days at the High Court in London, both from what Zak Brown has said and from what Alex Palou has said, more interestingly, can Zak Brown be trusted? And more to the point, can Oscar Piastri trust him and the McLaren organisation to do the right thing?
Oh man, I didn't realize that we were going to link everything back to what happened in Singapore. But we should pump the brakes on everything just for a second, right? I have heard a lot of people, including a friend of yours, jump to wildly imaginative, creative conclusions, and I don't know why you're doing that. So first and foremost, we have access to very little information. We should just add that in there, right? The very idea that there are WhatsApp disappearing messages, for example, does not prove anything one way or another, because, among the many discussions that could happen, there could be discussions about, a car's technical details, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, Formula One is all about maintaining secrecy in every bit of competitive element, whether it's within the car, on track, off track, drivers, all of this stuff. So we should not jump to any conclusions. By the way, I'm not a McLaren fan. I think those of you that have been with us long enough know that I'm not a McLaren fan. So I just want to say that I'm not here to defend Zach
Why
Brown
the
in any-
caveat?
What do you mean?
Why do we always
What
have
do
to
you
have a
mean?
caveat?
I just want to be
You
sure,
don't-
because the first
you don't
thing
need
that
to
well,
tell
because the
everyone
first-
that you're not a McLaren fan to make a point about McLaren.
well, but
You're
just,
telling me that
just so I
because
can-
you are a Ferrari fan that
Yes, but
suddenly
I'm
you're not allowed to
objective.
criticize
Look,
Fred Vasseur. That doesn't make any sense.
I mean,
No
being a
more
Ferrari
caveats,
fan
just
is
get on with
nothing these days. But that I'm just trying to say that I'm coming at this with a little bit of an objective perspective, which is to say that
So
we do not know
objective,
enough.
so
We do not
objective.
know enough, and for and
But this
and
is a
for
high
folks
court
like
case,
yourself,
Amar.
looking
So
at you guys,
literally, the evidence
you
is
are
coming
just
out in front
waiting.
of you.
I mean, good God, Lando could fart incorrectly, and you guys would be like, "Oh my God, McLaren are covering up the stench from his that." Like, come on, like just stop it for a second. Okay, so let's get.
I would stop it, but there is a lot of evidence that I keep putting out there every single time
There
you
is
say
no
this
Chef,
say
just because you
that
put evidence
Oscar.
doesn't mean it's credible, and just because it's credible,
Tell me
it
why
can
I'm
also
wrong
be
then.
true but useless.
Tell me
right?
why
And
I'm wrong.
I will tell you why I'm
why
wrong.
am I wrong?
But let's stay on track here. So everything that's come out and everything that's been put out right now is very interesting to me for a couple different reasons. One, when you get stuff like this put out in the media, someone's trying to win the hearts and minds of people, right? Because they're likely not winning a legal battle. Like that's the reason why you do that, right? When you're going to lose a battle in court, and I'm not saying that they will or won't. I'm not a lawyer.
I don't think that's how.
But
the
why is
law
it out in the
works.
public? Why is all of this out in the public when there's a court case going? By the way, I thought courts in Europe and the UK keep all these things pretty tight. Like Americans
No.
are,
You have court
you know,
reporters, so somebody turns up to court, and
but
why are
to
you saying
see
okay? That's what
screenshots of
happens.
WhatsApp messages, like that's not. I mean, I would imagine
apparently
that
that was available
Okay.
publicly, so
Okay,
that's
fine,
why
fair
that's come
enough.
out.
All
Yeah.
right, all right.
And this isn't published
it.
by like I don't know, f1fanatic.com/blogger. This is
North Pole.
This is this is Motorsport Magazine.
Gazetta.
This is motorsportmagazine.com.
No, I know.
So
I know
this
what
is
you're saying.
this is a reputable publication that have
Listen.
sent somebody in to be an actual court reporter at the High Court in London. That much of it you can trust.
I fully acknowledge that, and that's why I said I'm coming to you more so with questions rather than casting aspersions of any sort, right? This is what I'm at. So
almost
your
said
question was,
aspirations, I saw
should Zak Brown be trusted, especially if you're Oscar Piastri? I mean, to me, the irony of all of this is lost for those of you saying Oscar should not trust Zak, because part of the reason why Palou didn't get a contract is because they went and got Oscar. And need I remind you, the other legal battle that was going on was in and around Oscar and Alpine and Zak Brown fighting. By the way,
that doesn't mean anything. Let's deal with that irony
You asked the
first.
question of whether they should be trusted or not.
Let's deal with that irony. Omar, before everyone tells us that we shout over each other, let's just deal with that irony first. But what you can't say is just because you have been cheated on by somebody, it doesn't mean that the person that you have cheated with will not cheat again.
Okay.
So those two things don't go together. Just because Oscar Piastri benefited from one untrustworthy...
I did not realize that I was going to hit a sore spot with McLaren. You have not let me finish my thought here. Let me just finish.
Well, your thought has been going on for a long time. Carry on, Amar.
I mean, I'm a slow thinker. What can I do? Good things in life take time, Chess. Come on. This is not a Formula One track. So there's that. By the way, I did some digging in. Alex Palou has had his own issues, by the way, ironically with Chip Ganassi back in 22 as well. So again, if you want to be fair,
we're gonna do that. We're gonna victim blame. I love it.
Oh no, I did not say.
I love some victim blaming. Let's do it.
Well, I mean, this is all in the public too. Like this comes out. Like I'm not picking a side here. Look, I think on some level, Alex Palou has been done wrong.
You're picking a side quite hard, actually, I think.
There's no two ways about the fact that Alex Palou has been done wrong, and whether it was I don't know, and off the record conversation or some sort of paperwork trail or whatever about him getting that seat, it is pretty obvious that he was expecting that seat, and then for whatever reason, Oscar got that seat. So I don't know what to make of that. So I think he's perfectly fine to be feeling the way he did. I don't know what the legal ramifications are of him not fulfilling his contract. I'm very surprised, though, that McLaren has decided to make a big battle out of this to go out and get $20 million, considering the amount of money that McLaren have managed to raise. So to me, Shaz, this doesn't look like a dispute over money. It looks like a personal issue, kind of
Yes.
a dispute.
Yes.
That's the reason.
But
And so this is why I would say that you cannot decide whether Zach is trustworthy or not. Like, that's just it. I'm not saying I cannot make the leap like you do from there to like, oh my God, now I shouldn't trust the guy who fought so hard to get me. I don't know what that means. I don't know
okay.
what that means. And I don't know, you can sit up here and say, oh yeah, because he's cheated on someone else, he's going to cheat on me too. Maybe not. I don't know. Maybe he's not cheating on you. Maybe he's cheating on the other guy that everyone thinks he's being favored for. It could be that too.
So this is what I've come back to again and again, right? Is that what Alex Palou is saying is, look, I was given certain assurances, right? That the whole point of me signing for McLaren was at some point I'd get a shot in a Formula One car. And not only did that not happen, right? They stuck Oscar Piastri in that seat, Zak Brown told him, look, we're still trying to get you in a car. It's still going to happen. Don't worry about Oscar Piastri. Oh, and by the way, this one amused me. By the way, it wasn't me that tried to get Oscar Piastri. It was Andreas Seidel, my team principal. I'm CEO, and he's my employee, but I had nothing to do with Andreas Seidel trying to get Oscar Piastri. I mean, obviously that's highly believable. But not only that, Alex Palou turns around and says that he had some interest from AlphaTauri as they were at that time, and when his management told Zak Brown that they were reneging on their contract, suddenly Helmut Marko wasn't interested in Alex Palou either. And these are the accusations that are coming out. And look, you're right. It's a court of law, and they're trying to make an argument. They're trying to give some evidence. I don't disagree with that, but there will be some kernel of truth there. Alex Palou had an ironclad contract with McLaren to start from 2024, and he reneged on that contract. There has to be a reason for why he did that, and his reasons for doing it seem very, very plausible. So if Zak Brown, as Palou's lawyer continues to say in this court case, has a habit of giving with one hand, promising things, and then taking them away once he gets what he wants, isn't there at least some kernel
Of course there is.
of suggestion that maybe Oscar Piastri is suffering from the same
again with the Oscar Piastri.
Well, yes, because look, I'm not. I'll be completely honest with you. I am not interested in a court case between McLaren and Alex Palou. It makes no difference to me.
But the only thing you care about, what does it mean for Oscar?
I couldn't care less. But it does give us an insight into the character of Zak Brown. Okay, who look. I will defend Zak Brown to the rafters on most things. I think he has done an incredible job of assessing where McLaren were in 2018 and going, this Honda nonsense is silly. This Renault nonsense is silly. This is our car. We have a problem here. Going away, hiring the right people, sacking those people when it was clear they weren't going to work, promoting from within, getting sponsors on board. They are a completely different team because of what Zak Brown has done. But now that he's in that position and he has the power to alter the course of people's careers, drivers' careers is really what we're talking about here, because that's what he is. He's a driver too. That's what he loves doing. He is not playing, I think, with a straight bat. And there are, I think, lots of reasons for why that might happen. But one of the main ones for me is that there is clearly some level of bias. No, bias is such a loaded word, and I don't mean it like that.
You mean there's favoritism for Lando?
Correct, and not because he's British. That's not the reason.
Oh.
Zak Brown is American.
So you're gonna stop short there, but okay.
Zak Brown is American. Andrea Stella is Italian. McLaren is owned by the Bahraini wealth fund.
I'm trying to help you here, Shez.
Sure, but the Mercedes headquarters are also in the UK. That doesn't mean that Mercedes is suddenly a British company, right? So I don't think it's British bias, but Lando has been with that team for a huge amount of time. He was their F2 driver in 2018. He's been there since 2019. It's the only team in Formula One that he has driven for, and he has shown loyalty to that team. And don't forget, Zak Brown last year. Do you remember that quote that he came up with when he turned around and he said, "We're no longer in the Max Verstappen era," or something like that. "We're now entering the Lando Norris era." I mean, forgetting that you have Oscar Piastri in the seat next to him, vying for wins and pole positions in the same team. So yeah, I do think that there is a level of favoritism within that team, and it is being borne out by some of the Papaya rules decisions that are being made on track. And I can list through all of them because every single one, every time there is a Papaya rules judgment to be made on track, it always seems to come down in favour of Lando Norris. Tell me I'm wrong.
I mean, you are wrong because
tell me why.
Evidence is good, but it doesn't always prove everything.
Give me a better explanation.
I don't need to give an explanation. I am not alleging anything. My position is quite simple. Zak Brown wants to see McLaren be a dominant team, and he doesn't mind any driver winning.
So why is he always favored? Why is he always favored towards Lando?
Look, if once you're convinced that your partner is cheating on you, for example, Shez, no amount of evidence is going to make you less suspicious of them. That's my answer to you. Once you're convinced that that's happening, nothing is going to change. I could tell you the sky is blue tomorrow, and you'd say no, it's red. That's where we're at with this, because all the Oscar conspiracy theorists are now convinced that that's happening, while failing to acknowledge that Oscar crashed in Baku by himself rather.
But that had nothing to do with Papaya rules. You're conflating something different.
Saying,
tell me how Oscar crashed in Monza. Did he crash in Monza?
Oscar crashed in Monza?
Did he crash in Monza?
Did he crash this year? I don't know if he crashed.
No, he didn't. No,
what happened
but they swapped the positions in Monza based on a slow pit stop.
But again, the reason for we've covered this before. We can disagree. My position on that is they did a swap for a pit stop thing. What you're asking is to do a swap for something that happened on track. Okay. These are apples and oranges. Okay, right?
Let's talk about some more apples and oranges then, because the Papaya rules apparently say race clean, race hard, don't touch.
Apparently.
Not apparently. Zak Brown verbatim said that.
You just said you cannot trust Zak Brown. So if he said that in public, I don't know if it is true or not. Or maybe it's an exaggeration. Maybe it's just something that's said out there. And I told you last time.
But that's all the evidence. That's all the information we have. Don't touch
by itself.
Okay, forget the don't.
It's like saying don't be in the same vicinity as me. That doesn't mean anything.
Amar, stop. Forget the don't touch. Let's take that out of it. Race clean, race hard. All right. What happened in Melbourne when Oscar Piastri? What happened when Oscar Piastri had some? Well, Lando almost did as well. But Oscar had saved his tires in the first stint to attack Lando. What happened?
I don't know.
They told him
he was told to hold back or something because first race of the season.
They told him to hold back.
Okay, first race of the season.
Austria. Lando's ahead.
You're Oscar's still going to go through those examples without saying that.
Oscar's attacking, has a go, doesn't touch, gets told off, gets told to back off.
Yeah, okay. And what?
And what? Hungary, all right? Lando messes up qualifying, messes up the start, but somehow ends up on the better strategy and is now ahead of Oscar. Oscar attacks Lando, races hard, races clean, doesn't touch. What do they tell him?
I don't know.
Back
you know
off.
It, evidently.
Back off is what they say. Okay.
Okay.
And then they do finally touch. They finally touch
Canada.
in Canada, yes. But that doesn't really count because ultimately Lando fell off the road.
Okay,
So what are you going to do there?
Cheaters never prosper, Shez. There you go. He got it.
Right.
He got it from God.
But he did do it. He did do it in Singapore. They did touch, and I don't think that deserves a penalty or anything like that. But they did touch. So where is the fairness when it comes to?
No. But Singapore is. This is a good point. We've never talked about Singapore. We have to agree on one thing.
Singapore.
Lando did not go out there and try to touch Oscar.
It's not about how
he had a gap.
Intention.
He went for it.
It's
he touched Max. He touched Max, and as a result of that, he touched Oscar. He did not try to touch Oscar at all. There's a difference between kind of having the wheel to wheel like they did in Canada and that happening. Then I would agree with you. Like, we have to get this out of our system, man. Like, this is too much.
No,
you cannot.
Okay, let me explain something to you.
You're gonna say,
let me explain.
Don't breathe next to each other.
Sure.
Like, that's not how this happens.
Sure. Let me explain something to you, right? This issue is not about Singapore. Singapore is very clear cut. It was a very minor incident.
There you go. Then what are we complaining about?
Okay, have I finished explaining?
No, you've not.
Right. So it's not about. It was a very minor issue that shouldn't have resulted in anything, and we wouldn't even be having this discussion if it weren't for the fact that Monza happened. Right? Monza very clearly, Oscar said, "Oh, a slow pit stop is a racing incident. That it's just racing. We shouldn't have to swap positions because of a slow pit stop." And you're going to come back at me with but they only pitted Oscar first to stop him being undercut by Leclerc. And if he undercut ahead of...
No, they were not. It's
Lando,
not a racing incident.
therefore...
I'll tell you why that's not a racing. It's quite simple. It's quite simple. If you can objectively, unsubjectively open your eyes to it, they were not racing each other at that point in the race. It's as simple as that. So McLaren's take, and I don't agree with it, by the way, but I can understand where they're coming from. They're like, at this point, all we are trying to do is see if we can upset Max in any way. That's all they were trying to do. And it is a foolish decision, stupid decision. You can call it what you want. They were just at that point. They were just fooling around. The other word that I cannot say.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
They were just fooling around. That's
not...
why they said the race between you two guys is done.
No.
Now it's a question of can we go get Max or not. That's it.
Nonsense. And in fact, they didn't say it's done. In fact, they didn't say it's done. They said that as soon as they swap back, suddenly Oscar's allowed to attack Lando. So they were in a race. They were allowed to race. They are championship contenders in the same car. So no, I don't agree with that.
Fine, they did something wrong there. They should be reprimanded for it. Okay, that's fine. But
it comes
don't
back.
Make it right. You can't do another wrong to make that right. You can't keep doing wrong.
Well, it always seems to be do the right thing when it comes to Lando.
I'm sorry that Oscar feels persecuted. You know what? I agree. Go to Ferrari. Go ahead. Go ahead. Try your options. It's not like these guys didn't try hard to get you or anything. So cool. Go ahead and buy all that conspiracy theory stuff. Go for it. Go find green ambassadors.
It's not conspiracy. This is pure evidence I'm giving you, and you're not giving me.
It's not evidence, Jess. It's not evidence because the season is not over. Oscar is still leading the championship.
Your only argument back to me is it can't be because it's a silly argument that it's a conspiracy, right? But you're not giving me any evidence for
because
why.
The evidence is not. Evidence
evidence.
It does not add up to it. No, it does not. It's not pretty good. There's nothing pretty good about that.
It kind of does.
It's not pretty good because all you're doing is picking one aspect of it without looking at the whole race.
The other
in Australia,
aspect?
for example, and saying, no, at that point the rule could have been, hey, we're going to try to get this championship sealed, so I don't want to see you guys race at this point. That's what it could be. You have incomplete information. Evidence is only partial.
So why were they allowed to race later on? After they'd had their pit stop, once Oscar had been neutered in terms of his tyre advantage. Because it was safe
to do so then.
Because suddenly Oscar doesn't have the pace to do it, so that's when it's safe to let them race.
I mean,
do you see how that doesn't make any sense?
Fine. You know what? I give you that. Now explain to me why they worked so hard to get him though. If that's what they really wanted to do, then why did they have this, again, coming back to the Alex Palou stuff, why didn't they put Alex Palou in that second seat behind
Zak
Lando? And this would have all been fine.
Because Zak said it. We needed a quick driver in 2023, and he was available.
And Oscar got one. He had the chance to go to Alpine.
It's just the problem.
That's how this worked out.
It's all good. Is that Oscar's a bit too quick? And my issue here is
Oscar's a bit too quick.
My issue here is that Lando, as our friend Travis Diaz has said very eloquently, Lando is Zak's golden boy, and that's why Oscar cannot trust this guy. He
Okay.
can't trust McLaren to do the right thing by
Don't
him,
trust.
despite his performances, because McLaren have a history of doing this. Ron Dennis
Wrong.
always seemed to have his favourites. When Senna turned up, at
Everyone
McLaren,
has bias. Everyone has
correct.
bias.
When Senna
One of the
turned
things
up-
that you failed to acknowledge in the whole Alex Palou report is that he was going to go to Alpha Tauri and Helmut Marko. Good God, are we going to use Helmut Marko as a bastion of unbiased takes? I mean, look at what Red Bull have done with their two teams. Are we really going to? So, the idea that Zak Brown is doing this is not new or unusual. This stuff happens all the time. And again, I have no way to judge Zak Brown's character other than what I see on track, and what I have in front of me is very little. And so, of course, Alex Palou is aggrieved. There's a dispute going on. I don't know how this turns out. I just simply don't. But I cannot sit up here and say, "Wow, Zak Brown, is such a double, what hole." You can't do that stuff, because Christian Horner has done that all the time. I mean, we used to talk about how Red Bull just sacked drivers just like that,
Yeah,
right?
but
Pierre
those
Gasly, Alex
drivers
Albon.
weren't
I mean, how different is
measuring
this?
up.
So,
That's not the same. Those
okay,
drivers
Yuki
were not
Tsunoda never
measuring
got a
up.
chance to get up to the Red Bull seat until
he's in the
Red Bull
Yuki- he's
was
in the Red Bull seat
undesirable,
right now.
right? I mean, huh?
He's in the Red Bull seat right now, but none of the
He
drivers.
is, until it got, but when Christian Horner was there, that
But
was
none-
really like. I
that
mean,
doesn't even look. Those are two different situations. None of those drivers ever measured
it's
up
not about
to
situations.
Max.
I'm trying to explain to you that people like Zak
so-
Brown in their place, they do this stuff all the time. And look,
And-
maybe
and
he
look,
threw
let's-
Andreas
let's-
Seidel
let's
under
be
the bus,
honest
but
here.
this is not unique
Come on,
to him.
let's be honest here, right? Under Red Bull, Max Verstappen had, when Christian Horner was in charge, Max Verstappen being as quick as he was never a great thing for Christian Horner in terms of how he managed that team, how he held on to power within that team. Because actually, Max being as quick as he was seemed to weaken Christian Horner. So I don't buy that. I don't buy that as I don't buy that as a Max Verstappen is suddenly a Christian Horner golden boy. Not in the same way that Senna was to Dennis or Lewis was to Dennis. Those two drivers were so entwined with their team principle that actually the advantages came to them. I mean, to the point where in 2007, Ron Dennis uttered the infamous line, "We're not fighting Kimi Raikkonen, we're fighting Fernando Alonso for the title." Their driver in their car. Who the heck says that? And
You
Zak,
enjoyed it back then, didn't you?
and Zak Brown and Zak Brown is not as I don't think that Zak Brown is as barefaced as Ron Dennis was. Ron Dennis is never a people person, and I don't think he was able to get his point of view across eloquently enough. Zak Brown seems to be an arch communicator. He's able to say the right things to the right people. That's how he gets the sponsors and is able to talk in court and able to navigate the Piranha Club. But the outcome is still the same. He has his favourite. There is a favourite in that team,
Of course.
and it is for me. It is Lando Norris.
Yes, of course.
and
Everyone's
that's
gonna have their
fine,
favorite.
Amar. I don't care about him having a favourite because actually Oscar has done most of his talking on track in terms of not making the same mistakes that Lando has done and maximising the performance that he has within himself. Maybe not being as quick over a lap as Lando, but in all of the other aspects of being a Formula One driver, up until the last two races, he has excelled. And that's despite what I think is happening in terms of the biases that his team, that his CEO has. Because I don't think that if you ask Zak Brown who his favourite driver is between those two, and he told you hand on Bible, under oath, he's going to tell you Lando Norris. And that
but
has
there's
to
also
be...
reason for Lando has been with the team since 18,
but
right?
that
2018,
has to
like-
be eating.
Yeah, of course,
Like,
but-
that has
but-
to be eating at Oscar, who up until now
Okay,
has
but-
been
but
polite
Shaz-
and played the team game. So why
Okay.
should he?
But he doesn't need to worry about anything. Guess what? He has a 22-point lead in the championship, something like that, right?
It was
all he
34.
need-
It was 34 after Zandvoort. It's now down to 22. Three races later.
And he has nothing to do with that, no? I mean, There's no fault of his own in there. No,
In one race.
It's all
In one
one
race.
race.
In
Oh,
one race.
but he crashed in that race, Shez.
Yeah, what about the other
He
two?
crashed on his own
What about the
accord.
other two?
Okay, but Shez, are you just going to look past the fact that he DNF'd on his own, where he would have? This is all on him. This was not mechanical. It was
But
not
you're
technical.
focusing on that one. I'm telling you about the two other incidences.
And also in Singapore, he
by the
was
way,
the one who gave,
by the way,
he also
when
he is the one who
Oscar
gave space to Lando. Like he screwed that up too.
By the way,
I love that we're just jumping on Lando on this, but no one wants to criticize.
Because the rule is don't touch your teammate. When your teammate's on the inside, you leave a bit of a gap.
And he was slower. He was slower in Monza. He was slower in Singapore.
Thanks for that, Michael Deluso.
Huh? Oh, thanks, Michael. Yeah, there you go. He was slower in Monza. He was slower in Singapore. Lando had the wing damage from the crash, so to speak, right? He had, and still he
Lando
was
was
faster
slower
than Oscar.
Lando was slower in Hungary, and yet Oscar wasn't allowed to attack him. Explain that.
I don't know how to explain that.
Yeah,
You're gonna have to
exactly.
go ask the principals.
Yeah,
why would
exactly.
But
Tell you what the
Shez,
reason
you're
is, because
asking.
their favourite is Lando Norris.
Shez, okay, why was Oscar asked to pit first in Monza then? Go ask. I mean, they made a decision based on
Because
what
they wanted to
team
preserve
perspective.
their 2-3.
Okay, that's what they were trying to do. There you go. They were trying. Finally, now you admit it. They were trying to preserve their team.
But that's a team
Preserve
thing.
is the word you're looking
That's
for.
why they. That's why they did
the
that.
swap was happening.
Amar,
They were
the
trying to
swap.
preserve
No.
the 2-3.
That doesn't count, because the swap.
Okay, now that doesn't count.
Yeah,
So,
and let me explain why. Don't just interrupt me, Amar. This is really difficult to have a conversation with you, because every time I try and start a point, you're just interrupting
now
me.
you know how I feel.
We'll make a good point, and maybe I'll let you finish. But the difference between stopping
Angry
Leclerc getting in the middle of a McLaren 2-3 is not the same as swapping your drivers around and maintaining that 2-3 anyway. Those aren't the same thing.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, I really don't. I mean, Lando is the one who's had a DNF, and Oscar's the one who's actually crashed on his own accord. Like, he's literally crashed.
But Lando hasn't.
Wheel-to-wheel
Lando
racing.
hasn't crashed on his own.
He left space in Singapore trying to get cheeky and go after Max. That didn't work out, so he was compromised on turn 3 in Singapore, where you were, somewhere around where you were. He created that space for that contact to happen. But no, we're gonna brush past that, because the conspiracy theory is a lot more fun.
Right,
I'm with you with that.
But Lando's never crashed, right?
I did, but I'm not the one defending Lando, Shez. The difference here is
you are defending Lando. It's not me defending Lando.
No. You're the one bringing evidence up, and I'm giving you counter evidence. And your position is, no, your evidence, not evidence.
But you haven't given me any evidence. What evidence have you given me? What? What evidence?
The evidence is in front of you, Shez.
Tell me that evidence.
You want to put the Australian, what is the Australian color?
This
evidence.
glasses.
If you want to do that, that's fine. I can't explain that to you.
Okay. The evidence is in front of me, but
I
love it. I'm loving it. He is loving it. The evidence is in front of me, right?
My life is now a Ferrari fan. Yeah. Go ahead.
The evidence is in front of me, right? But I'm too blind to see it. So explain it to me. Tell me.
I am not.
Tell me why.
Says you know how court works, right?
Tell me why Lando is not being.
If you come to me and you say this is all evidence of McLaren being conspiratorial against Oscar, I'm turning it around and saying to you that everything that you're saying, each of your evidence pieces, is all circumstantial. Because guess what?
So give me your counter argument.
Truth is, if they were really being that way, the championship leader would not be Oscar. It would be Lando. And Oscar would have and Lando would have had a greater margin if that's what they really wanted. They would have done everything in their power to not have a mechanical DNF in Zandvoort, right?
But are you telling me that they? Are you telling me that they? Are you?
They did,
right?
Amar,
with a straight face, are you telling me that they haven't done everything in their power to stop a mechanical DNF?
Yes, I'm going to tell you this with a straight face. I have.
I love it.
Hear me correctly.
So the mechanical DNF was on purpose.
I have zero reason, with all of your circumstantial evidence, to say that they are favoring Oscar simply because they want Lando to win the championship. I get why Oscar Piastri fans feel that way. I would too if my driver in that space, right? So I would be the first one screaming on top of this proverbial mountain, if you will, and saying the same thing too. But let's be honest, if you're an objective fan that has nothing to do with this team, and I really don't,
Nor do I.
That's not true.
I
This is a
absolutely
straw man
don't.
argument. It's a straw man
I'm a Lewis
argument.
Hamilton fan here.
Look,
So
their
that's
papaya
got nothing to
rules
do with it.
are a disaster, right? You can see why they came up with this, because this is a team that has not won anything for damn near 2 decades. So when they've come and found out that they can be a dominant team, they've figured out a formula to keep two relatively equal drivers together without having an explosion. That clearly is not working out. So there is no hiding behind that. Is it to say that papaya rules are 100% correct? No, they're not, because that's how it is. Name another time. I mean, you bring up '07 too. McLaren has had these issues. Other teams have had. Red Bull had these issues with Seb and Mark Webber too. This is not the first or the last time these things will happen.
But those things were very clear.
Too.
Sebastian
They were not
Vettel
clear.
was the chosen one at Red Bull, right?
Yeah, okay.
And
Chaz,
Max
I
Verstappen
refuse
has
to believe that Lando is
and
the
Max
chosen one
Verstappen,
based on his performance, and I also refuse to
no,
believe
because
that
his
Oscar
performance
is not,
doesn't.
that's
That's
him
the
because they went out of their
problem.
way to get him. Okay, but Chaz, are you telling me that Oscar Piastri was the only quick driver they could have gone out and gotten and fought with Alpine on, make all this
That was
kerfuffle
available.
about?
That was
There could
available
have
at
been
that
other
point.
drivers too.
But there wasn't at that point. There was nobody quicker than Oscar Piastri.
They had to get Oscar. They had to get Oscar, right?
Yeah.
They had to get Oscar
I
in
agree
order
with
to
that.
be here, but they now need Lando to win. Okay. Whoops. Sorry. Dropped a book.
Yeah, those two things are not
okay,
mutually
fine.
exclusive.
No, and this, it's perfectly believable too. I get it. I get it. I mean, Shez, I get it. I really do. I mean, if you're of the belief and
We
mindset,
have-
I cannot argue with you.
We
Like,
have consensus.
there's no way to. By the way, there's no way to disprove conspiracy theories. They are conspiracy theories for a reason. That's what this
there
is.
we go.
I mean, this.
I think you're overblowing my sense that this is
I can't wait for Piastri to have a DNF, because all of you, and if there's a mechanical DNF in his future, which probabilities they say they are, the world's gonna explode.
So you're overblowing the level to which I think this is a conspiracy theory. It's not
what
that.
What I'm saying is it's too soon to make that decision, Chaz. If this continues, let's see what they do next race.
I mean, I don't know how long it has to keep going for. But
well, they've sealed the constructors. Now there's no need to do it. That's the whole goal.
But what I am saying is, when there is a decision to be made that favours one driver or the other, it tends to come down in favour of Lando Norris.
The other driver is behind. The other thing, I mean, again,
not when Oscar is
they
behind.
They made that swap in Hungary 24 also.
Yeah,
they made that swap when Lando didn't want to do it.
Literally the only example that anybody can come up with.
It's a huge one.
But I've just given you.
None of these other examples have to do with race wins.
Yes, they do. Austria was a race.
Singapore wasn't a race win.
Austria was for a race win. Hungary was for a race win. Oh, okay. You're going to do that. Oh, come on. But yes,
the point is there's going to be some of these and there's going to not be some of these. Like, I don't understand. Like, they didn't do anything special in Belgium, Spa, to make Lando come up there, right? Too. They didn't do anything. I mean, I get it.
There are these examples, and as I say, it always seems to favour Lando. And I'm not saying that there's some kind of grand conspiracy, but I think when it comes down to a 50-50 decision about whether or not we let Oscar have the thing he wants, or we let Lando have the thing that he wants, Zak Brown, with Lando being his golden boy, is generally going to come down in favour of Lando, which is why Oscar cannot
only what
trust.
Every other team has ever done.
Which is why Oscar.
Every other team has ever done.
Oscar,
so I mean, I don't know what to say.
But we agree that is there.
We agree that is there. Yes,
fine,
but I'm not in for the theories that they're holding Oscar back to win.
No, I'm not saying they're holding him back. All I'm saying is, when there is a decision to be made between the two drivers,
can I ask
it comes down
now?
in favour of Lando.
Can I ask you something now? Why are we pretending like McLaren are any different than any other team?
Because they are saying they
done that.
Because they are saying they are. They are saying that we have two number one drivers, and we are going out of our way to control even the uncontrollables. No, they don't.
Even Red Bull said that early in 23 before Max came and walled Checo Perez. Like, even that happened there. Like, I mean, we saw what happened there. Like, Sergio won a couple races and the Red were like, nah, let's not do that anymore. Like, let's change the car back. Like, I mean, come on.
But that's because there was... Listen, Omar, even in Mercedes' years when Lewis and Nico were going up against each other,
okay,
it wasn't.
Lewis was favorites.
It's not. We're gonna make it fair between the two drivers. It was go for it, race as hard as you can, do what you want, and they accepted that things like Spain 2016 could happen. They were angry about it.
It's about to happen now. I think it's about to happen. We have waited long for this moment, Chaz. I think here's the beauty of everything
it's going to
that
happen
happened.
because Oscar is going to ignore what he is being told by
It's
the
to his
pit wall.
peril. It's to his peril. By the way, every conspiracy theory accepted, he's still leading in the championship comfortably enough to just go on, just finish ahead of Lando. That's all he needs to. He shouldn't even care about beating Max. It doesn't even matter. Just try to finish ahead of Lando. That's pretty much all he's got to do. Let's see what he does. If the Monza thing got to him and he showed up in Baku and performed the way he did, then I don't know, man. There's something
He
more to it
basically
than-
in Monza should have just said no. I've
Okay,
said
yeah,
I've
he
said
should
it.
have.
I've said it 100 times.
He
He
should have said
just
no,
said
but
no.
but that's done, Shaz. It's done. And this is the thing that I hate about Oscar defenders. Man, y'all act like he gave up a race win, and as if the championship standing tilted. It was 3 damn points. And then he shows up and DNFs in Baku, and he is lucky as hell because that should have been a race where Lando could have. And by the way, McLaren screwed him there in Baku, which nobody wants to bring up now. Now we're not gonna that slow pit stop costed Lando 2 positions, which could have impacted his standing in the championship. But no, that is not evidence. Obviously, I mean, come on. In this case, McLaren were clearly favoring Lando, so they had the slow stop again in Baku, where Lando was behind those 2 cars, couldn't overtake. We know the rest, right?
So this is where we have to make a distinction, right? I am not talking about conspiracy theories like you are. Like they intentionally made him have a mechanical DNF. They intentionally gave him slow pit stops. That's not what I am saying. What I am saying is in their pursuit of being fair to their drivers, they are always landing more fairly on Lando's side of the argument every single time.
Can I ask you a question? In all of the situations that you brought up, right? Like Australia, let's say the positions were swapped. Do you think the same message comes out of McLaren saying, don't race Oscar now, for example? Or they say, no, go for it.
Yes.
Lando, go for it. Just go for it.
Yes.
So that's what you're saying.
Yes.
So
because I've not seen a single bit of evidence where Lando has not been. Okay, I'll give you another example. When in Belgium, when Lando was behind and he was chasing Oscar, did you ever hear at any point them telling Lando to back off? I'll wait.
I didn't hear all the radio. Maybe they did. We just didn't hear it. Because we hear selective radio.
You're telling me
Chaz,
that if McLaren, yeah, but it's not McLaren to choose the radio, is it? You're telling me.
We'll have to come back to it, Chaz. We'll have to go back and listen to the team radio from the whole race to know that. I have no way to say that now. And you have no way to say that too. Were you listening to all of the team radio? And it's also been well established that F1 does selective radio broadcasting.
So
this has been well established.
Your argument is that
your evidence is weak. That's all I'm saying.
No. Your argument is that when there's a juicy bit of radio between the 2 leaders,
and your argument is that F1 shows the juiciest bit of radio, not necessarily the truest pieces, right? Or are you saying? Okay, all right. So you tell me that now. Next time when they show stuff about Lewis Hamilton,
they are going to.
Then don't be up in arms about it. Don't do that.
Amar, pray. Let me finish this. Your argument here is that they will play every single bit of McLaren radio when Oscar is chasing Lando, but when Lando is chasing Oscar in Belgium, they won't play it.
I did not say that. My response to you is quite simple, Shez. I'd have to go back and listen to the whole team race radio from the whole thing, because what is played on in the broadcast we know is few and far between, and it's well proven that it lacks context. So in the very example that you gave, it could be that you're true, it could well be that you're false, in which case we'll come back and we'll talk about it.
Of course,
unlike you, I'm not saying this is evidence, this is it, don't look at anything else, like this is it. That if that's how we want to do it, that's fine. I mean, I thought I was the irrational guy here, but I don't know, maybe rubbing off on you, Shez. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it totally makes sense. I 100% catch your drift. That Absence of
I love
evidence is
this, man.
evidence of absence.
I love that we have chosen this mountain to die on. We literally have. Yes, please hit the like button, folks. Please also subscribe while you're at it. We seem to be stuck in 1600 purgatory, but there it is.
It's not
No,
bad. It's not a bad number. I'm
with
not
you.
going to lie.
No. I mean, come on. Yes, it could be better. No, 2000. Let's just say, or people are holding this against us. People, do not conspire against our. Look, Shaz, all kidding aside, I think you bring up a valid point. I think there is always going to be this moment, right, where a team says that we have two number one drivers, and we know that is such a farcical opinion because it does not make practical sense. You and I on this show have talked about, should we have two number one drivers, or should we have a number one and a number two driver? And the reality is there's always going to be one driver that needs to be favored more than the other. And I think that up until this point in the season, I am willing to say that all the circumstances in Papaya rules have gone against Lando. That said, let's see what this looks like moving forward, and let's see if now that McLaren have secured the championship, what happened? Now that McLaren have secured the championship, let's see what happens moving forward, because this could change drastically. We'll find out in about a week's time. What happened? Did I say something?
No, I half agree with everything, but I just want to say
agree with everything.
A massive shout out to John Perry. John, thank you so much. I'm glad you're enjoying the show. That's amazing.
Oh my goodness, John, come on.
I think
that's very nice of you.
Yeah,
You literally caught us flat-footed. I mean, I asked for more subscribers, but okay, cool. Thank you. I wish John would ask us a question. Maybe we can answer one of those.
Definitely.
John, thanks for joining. Thanks for joining this, and thank you for wasting your time, by the way. And money, evidently. No, I mean, this is look.
Do not listen. Don't listen to Amar. We massively appreciate that, John.
No, of course, I just said that. I massively appreciate it. Come on. I'm just going to tell all of you that are joining us. This is the moment we've been waiting for the whole season, right? We have not had an interesting debate and discussion about McLaren the whole time. We've been doing McLaren video shares all the time, guys. No one shows up and watches these. Now we're finally getting there. I mean, we have to thank Zak Brown. We have to thank Lando. We have to thank Andrea Stella. We have to thank Oscar. We have to thank all of them, because now it's suddenly interesting. I mean, this is what we've been waiting for. So let's see how it goes. All I'm here to say is that let's just wait until we get to the championship to decide on these conspiracy theory shares. Because what if Oscar wins at the end of the year? What are you going to say? Oh, no.
I will say that he won despite the fact that his team actually favoured the other driver, and I will give him massive kudos for that. Massive kudos for that. I think he's done great. Right.
So your whole thing is
hello. I think I know who this guy is. Oh, I need to read this.
What's the question?
Now with John's donation, which one of Tyre GP lineup gets the reward? This is Lando Norris.
I mean,
Oscar Piastri.
I have been boxed into this territory where I have to side on Lando Norris. I mean, I just do not understand. I do not understand why I have to defend. Guys, I'm a broken Tifosi. Come on, like, you've seen it. I mean, I forgot my Lyco Tears cup. This hashtag Lyco Tears.
Yes, but you guys all watched our Ferrari video, and there's too much consensus there. This is clearly
not fun.
ripe for debate.
I mean, good God, Razor, I have no idea what to say to you. Like, look, I am genuinely rooting for Lando to win these next couple races, not because I want him to win the championship necessarily, because I want to see this go down to the wire in Abu Dhabi. Guess what? We might be saying AD25 better than AD21.
I don't think so.
Okay,
only because the only because the caliber of it just doesn't have the stakes, man. Like, the caliber of the drivers that we're talking about.
You are telling me it doesn't have the stakes after you have sowed these seeds of conspiracy. Now you're here to tell me, oh man, I did not interrupt him. Come on, man. Hey, man. All right. People are turning up against
I think we have reached a level of as much consensus as Amara and I are going to get on this topic. Zak Brown is untrustworthy. I'm gonna say it right there and then. If your name is Oscar Piastri or Alex Palou, do not trust Zak Brown. And if you're Daniel Ricciardo, he's already had that advice. On that note, yes.
1 second.
Yeah.
He wants to go to Ferrari. Piastri. Like that's, you really think that's going to do
Oh,
it?
no,
Like that's
I'm
that's how we're going to
definitely-
play this game.
I'm definitely not saying he should go there before he's won a world championship.
And John, I agree with you. Ferrari does need to change the color of their fire red, and they are a true dumpster fire now. I mean, I love that. Maybe in the next chat we do, Shez, I'll have that on my mug. Hashtag tears for C, please.
Yeah, maybe that's where we need to spend that cash on on some personalized mugs for Amar.
Seriously, man, legend John Razor, thank you so much. You guys are amazing. My stuff here is lagging, so I'm a little behind, but thank you.
Ditto. As usual, please like, please subscribe, please leave us a comment. We'll reply to as many as we possibly can, and we'll see you guys in the next one.
We'll have to be back now. We'll have